So luckily I have my very own CNC machine. This is my Racer 4000. It is a vertical machining center, 3-axis. It's a pretty nice machine. I'm just getting it going. Let's make some chips. You can see I've offset those holes right there, and basically that's so the caliper is going to sit inboard more, and I've got these cool bushings around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Whip. I've pretty much made those size on size, so they'll be mostly a press fit, so they'll knock in there and shouldn't move around too much. So that's pretty cool. Yeah! Alright, well, my garage is a mess, but I'm going to do a quick test fit of this caliper that I just machined to make sure that it all works and it clears the wheel. So I'm going to press in the bushings that go in here. Put the caliper together real quick just to see how it all fits on and see if I need to adjust the caliper at all to clear the wheel. I suspect that I do. I think that even moving the caliper inboard, the 2 or 3 millimeters that I have, I still need to make some clearance for the wheel, and that'll be just shaving the top of the caliper. So here we go. I'm going to press these in, put them together, and see how they fit. I'm back in the garage now. The machining on the calipers is done, so I've added my offset bushings / spacers. I've even taken some time to fit these on the car a bunch. Everything worked out pretty good, so I'm able to clear my 13-inch wheel. It took a little massaging on the outside of the caliper, right here and here, but ultimately it all fits up. It's very tight, probably about a millimeter clearance at worst, but there's plenty of meat on these calipers to remove it, and it all fits. So now it's just a matter of rebuilding calipers real quick. It's a pretty simple process, and putting it all back together. So I'm going to just jump right into that now and talk about some of the other stuff that have to go back on the car, new wheel bearings, etc., and then mount up the car. Cross my fingers that it all works. Boots off. So that's everything out of the calipers. Just going to clean them up real quick now with some brake cleaner. make sure there's no goo in there, blow them off, and I'll start reassembling them. So calipers are done, clean enough. We're just going to slide these over here and recondition the pistons a little bit here. Brake cleaner, and I actually hit it first with a bit of a magic eraser, which surprisingly works really well. So here we go. So there you go, you can see that they are nice and shiny again. This foam, little foam pad is 1200 grit. I just got it at Canadian Tire. It's aggressive enough to get that caked on brake fluid, but it doesn't seem to have an impact on the hardened cylinder wall. So that's good enough. It'll run nice and true and probably give us another 20 years of run like that. So I'll just rebuild these other ones here and rebuild the calipers all in one go. And it's pretty quick from here on out. There is a loaded caliper. Now this is ready to go in the car. The only other thing I got to get ready now is finish packing the bearings. So again, there's new races in the hub. You cannot mix and match your new bearing race, so you got to swap those out. Just got to pack them with grease. It's a bit messy, so easiest way I found is to just dip it in the palm of your hand. Just going to put that down here for a second, because I'm going to do the back side first because it gets a seal. Need my little hammer. I made that hammer. That's a fun fact. And there's the bearing in place. And there's a seal that goes in there, and I'm just gonna put that in the back side here. So goes in like so. You can just tap it in. Just like so, and that one's not going to fall out anymore. And this one we'll just put in here. It sits like so. And that's going to have this retaining washer, the crown nut, and the cotter pin to hold that on. Disc is ready. The only other thing I had to do was modify the dust covers a little bit, so I just had to trim them out a little bit here and a little bit there just to fit around the caliper, but otherwise they fit. They clear the rotor, everything's good. So now we're on to the end here. It's just a matter of putting it on the car. Okay, so the first thing that goes on is the dust cover. It's pretty straightforward. That's that. Next comes the hub. Got this washer that comes on, and it's got a little tab in here. It can only go one way. And the crown nut. So last time I did this, I did it pretty tight, just to seat everything. Now you can't spin it, and then you back it off. Until you get some movement. At this point you'd slip the cotter pin up and spread it apart just to hold the crown pin in place, but from experience doing it last time, I didn't have it tight enough and I had to redo it. So I'm just going to check with the wheel on, make sure I have no play, and make sure the bearing feels okay. After you get the crown nut on and the cotter pin in, you just tap this cover into place. It's pretty easy. So on the hub there's a little threaded hole for the rotor retainer. That guy up here. You don't have to kill it. Next comes the caliper. Banjo bolt, crush washer, and we'll just get this, get that nice and snug, and then it's just 2 bolts to attach this up. So there they are. Brakes mounted on the car. Now it's just a matter of bleeding them. I'm not going to bore you with that, so I'll bleed them. I'll find a friend, help me pump up the jam, and see if this all works, see if any leaks. So with any luck, fingers crossed, next time I'll be talking is going to be in the car doing a test drive. Good news is the brakes work. Probably need an extra bleed. I didn't get very far, just around the block. And then catastrophe. Maybe not catastrophe, but a setback. Remember when I said there's lots of clearance, or a millimeter? Not quite. Looks like as the bearings bedded in and everything kind of hit its final place, the wheel got a little play, and the caliper ended up touching the inside of the barrel. Oh. And I got that awful grinding sound. It's not too bad, but it was enough to stop and pull the whole car apart and see what's going on. Gonna tighten up the wheel bearing, which I already have the nut off. Just an extra turn. There was a bit of play when I had the wheel on it by the time I got back, so I'll check that again, and gonna grind off more of the caliper and try it again. Both sides do the same thing. Okay, wheels are back on. Everything seems tight. I'm gonna try this again. You can come with me, see if this is a disaster or not. It's pretty tight, but it's hard to hear. So last time I was going around the block just bending in the brakes and seeing how they felt, and on one hard push, that's when everything started to drag and scrape. So it feels okay now. This time I'm not going to get as far from home. I had to come all the way home in reverse because whatever was happening, reverse wasn't touching, but forward was. It seems okay now. Let everything get a little hotter with a few stops. Whoa, but I'm getting some tire slip. The brakes feel good. They just need to be bled a bit more. Seems to be clear. I'm gonna go get some gas. I think we're okay here. Might take them off again, see if there's any other rubbing. I've marked everything with a bit of chalk. See if I gotta take more off of it, but it seems okay so far. The brakes feel already way better than they did before. And I think it's going to be a success. I mean, I think if you're trying to fit the big brake kit under 13s, maybe don't. I'm stuck on these wheels. I really like them, and I think it's a cool look for the car. I just wanted to see if it could be done. It looks like it can, but it is a little bit more work than you would expect from the way the mod is described. Got a bad scrape there. I don't think that was just on the heat shield. Let's see. I gotta get some gas anyway, so I'm just gonna take it easy, get some gas here. But I can see why this mod is so prolific. Like, I mean, if you were doing this in the 90s or the 2000s, you could probably go to the wrecker, grab a set of calipers from a 240 for nothing. Given the way that Volvo parts are made, you could just slap them on without rebuilding anything. Yeah, the offset's a little off, and the pad's gonna hang off the rotor a little bit, but if you already had larger wheels, you just pump it on and off you go. So this upgrade you could probably do from the wrecker back then for like $100, but having to do it again, I would probably just buy the kit. It's hard to source all the parts. You gotta rebuild all the stuff yourself, which, you know, it takes time and effort to find all this stuff. It's an interesting journey, but yeah, there's probably better ways to spend your time. I'm happy with it. It's gonna take me a little bit to fine tune these right in so I have just enough clearance and that I'm stopping. I think they need to be bled again. Same problem I had last time with bleeding the brakes. I have that proportioning valve up so high in the system that it's hard to get all the air out, but I think everything feels good. Just a matter of looking at it a few times now and seeing what's going on with the rubs. If it's still hitting the barrel of the wheel, I don't know. I'm happy with it. I wouldn't undo it, and it looks like I'll be able to get to 7-Eleven to buy some slushies on Lucas's birthday. So that's the important thing. Down to the wire, no margin of error, and a little bit sketchy, but I think a little bit more touch with the grinder, and everything will be okay.